Well, hello everybody. It's Petrus Engelbrecht, realtor at Sotheby's International Realty, and I'm here today with Bob Beach. Bob is the principal broker owner at the Mortgage Center, Bob Beach and Associates. Hi, Bob. How are you?
Hello, Petrus. Fine. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Navigating like everybody else in the world, the present situation with COVID-19. And I think the landscape, as we now know, is changing every single day in every single industry out there. And but I just wanted to chat with you today, seeing as you are very heavily involved and help me with a lot of my clients' as mortgages. I want to hear from you how things are going in your practice, what you're seeing out there, maybe a little bit of I suppose what is now history, even though we're only 3, 4, 5 weeks into this. What was the year shaping up to be, and where are we now with things having changed so quickly and radically, Bob?
That's a really good question. We started off with a really busy January, February. A lot of new transactions related to purchases, which is primarily your end, and a lot of refinances and people coming up with renewals. And we're still closing those purchases. They happened in January, February, even in March. But we're getting a lot of other questions we normally wouldn't see and hear about right now, like the mortgage deferrals, for instance. So the phones are still ringing. We are still in operation because we're considered an essential service. We trade in mortgages that assist in home purchases, as you are an essential service. So we're still going a little differently than normal, but phones are ringing and we're talking to people.
Okay, excellent. And so I think, well, I'm not sure whether it's a misconception or not. It might be. The interest rates have been cut by, I believe, the Bank of Canada quite radically recently, and so, but that doesn't necessarily translate to a cut in interest rates, or does it for the consumer out there? What are you seeing at the moment with regards to rates, Bob?
Okay, Petrus, it's a good question. You are correct. And we have to think about two paths. So we've got the variable rate product that's really controlled and priced by the Bank of Canada rate, which we did see three decreases, in a very short period of time to help with the economy during these difficult times. So your variable rate mortgages have come down, probably see the net result around 2.25 up to 2.5%. Now the fixed rate mortgages were helping themselves from January through to March. They were dropping on their own. And in fact, we had an all-time low around the 10th or 12th of March that lasted about 4 or 5 days. And with the stock market fluctuations, it jumped up about 20, 30 points. But I always say anything under 3% in a fixed rate mortgage is still a great rate anyway, lowest I've seen in my long career.
Yes.
And the difference between that and the low point might be $50 a month on a typical Oakville, Mississauga, Burlington mortgage. So nothing to worry about. And we're looking at these great variable rates right now. And that also reflects in your line of credit. Your line of credit could be 125 points lower than it was a month ago. And a lot of people have lines of credit and will need them in the coming days.
Excellent, excellent. Well, yeah, I mean, it's an ever-changing landscape, and I think those that are proactive in these days and just out there to help their clients, those are the ones that will, when things come back to a new normal, I want to say, they will be doing business. Very important to keep going and keep moving at this stage, and just thinking how you can possibly help your clients through this very difficult time. I think, and I know some people will be more affected than others. I mean, you could theoretically have a family where both income earners had a very stable income, and then all of a sudden they now don't, and it's a very uncertain future for them. So just basically holding their hands, I think, would be very important in this time, very difficult time.
We're doing a lot of that, and a lot of the things you're talking about, mortgage deferrals. And
Yeah.
as I've said before, every lender has a different approach to entertaining that with a client. But every major lender in Canada is looking at mortgage deferrals now. Payments can be deferred for 3 months, 6 months. And they have different ways of recapturing that money, but none of them are in a hurry to get it back. So if you have a lost income, you can contact your local lender by branch. I have phone numbers, sort of backdoor phone numbers for my clients and for your clients too if they want to call me. and we'll assist with that.
Yeah, I'm definitely already getting those calls, and I'll be sending that to you for sure. Thanks, Bob. Well, just what I find, I suppose, interesting is that everybody's circumstances under their roof at their house is different. What does it look like there in your household, Bob?
Well, working from home is easy for people in the sales business because we often do that anyway.
Yeah.
Empty nesters, so not a lot of comings and goings anyway. But my daughter's delivering a baby in about 6 weeks, and we're really wondering what that'll look like.
Wow.
Will her husband be able to attend? Will I get to see a grandchild very quickly? So things like that every family's dealing with. Their personal lives are impacted so much by this. It's not just the work life.
So many question marks. I was just speaking to a client of mine who is, he's basically confined to a facility where, he's a little bit more at risk. So you can't leave that facility. Nobody can come in. Nobody can go out. He's not familiar with signing anything electronically, and we need to extend his listing. And it's going to be a challenge. I'm going to have to drop documentation for him. Hopefully they will deliver it to him sanitized, and then he will sign it and drop it back. I won't be able to see him. So we lots of adapting to do and lots of question marks, but we have to navigate these difficult times, I suppose, right?
Well, for what I've heard and what I've read and participating in your office meetings, your industry's done a marvelous job, reacting to this and being able to still service your clients and get things done for them. We were in the broker world quickly able to work remotely, and most of my lenders and underwriters work from home now and did before. So we're getting the same level of service, quick turnaround we did before. Appraisal business, big change. Appraisers aren't going in houses now. So many of my deals need appraisals. They're with the agreement of the vendor, looking through windows now, taking pictures, using the 360 photographs you talked about earlier today to me, and getting appraisals done. But the other thing is what I recommended to clients, if you are looking at making a purchase and you need your finance condition, be very sure that your lender's still working, because a lot of bank branches are working on very skeleton staff. Access to them is very limited. And if they're home, it's not the same as working perhaps with a person like myself that is always available. So they should just make sure that all the people along the line, their lawyer and their appraiser, house inspector, and mortgage person are all still available and able to interact with them in some way to get the deal done.
Yes, to your point, I mean, it's such a rapidly changing landscape. I recently did a relatively big transaction, and a very senior appraiser was sent in to do the appraisal, and we were sort of like midway through this very quickly escalating process. And when he met me at the door, and I still kept my distance, and I had all sorts of protective gear on and so forth, he said that this was his fourth one that he had attended that day, two of which the actual sellers had showed him away. These are people that have sold their homes, that are wanting to move on, that would not even allow the appraiser to come into their homes. And that was 2 weeks ago already. So yes, a rapidly changing landscape for sure, and one that will keep on changing and be very liquid for the foreseeable future. But yeah, lots of protocols for agents and service providers to agents. We have to have people sign documentation before they can go into properties to not only protect them, but they have to certify that they've read through the protocols. They have to sign off on that. Any prospective buyers have to sign off on indemnifications. The photographers have to sign indemnifications. It's become quite the bit of paperwork that's sent around on DocuSign before anybody goes into a property. So yeah, it's rapidly changing, but that's how we have to adapt, right? Everybody's adapting very quickly to that.
And we're creating a lot of new tools that'll be used after this leaves us, and it's back to another normal. We'll have all kinds of new tools and protocols that might actually make life easier. Lenders that wouldn't accept DocuSign before accepting it now. So we see a lot of things, don't like to say good coming out of this, but there'll be a lot of procedures we can use later on to make things work easier and faster and not inconvenience people.
I'm seeing I'm a very natural glass half full kind of guy, so I'm seeing a lot of silver linings. I'm seeing Lawyers are closing electronically now with DocuSign, so you don't have to be there. So I've had clients of mine do FaceTime sessions and then sign on DocuSign, which I think is a big positive. I'm seeing a big move towards I still have a check that I have to go take to the office now. I have to make sure nobody is at the office, leave it at the front desk, then email people to come and pick it up. I'm hoping to see the checks disappear out of our lives because I think it's very antiquated. So there is a big movement towards electronic funds transfer now at long last. So those are all positives that we'll take forward with us, I think,
And you get a parking spot in downtown Oakville right now.
That's a big positive, yes. Okay, well, thank you very much, Bob. I really enjoyed, as always, I enjoyed our chat and always very informative. People, if you need a mortgage, Bob is definitely the man. He is a wealth of knowledge, and it's not just the lowest rate always. It is always the best advice, and Bob is the guy for that. So thank you, Bob, for joining us today.
Always a pleasure, Petrus.
Thank you.